owner of American Jewelry and Loan, and you know him from the reality show Hardcore Pawn. Les, great to see you.
Do you still remember Hardcore Pawn? One of the return to your screen? Join us as we reveal the mysteries surrounding Hardcore Pawn members that will leave you speechless. Rich Pile. Rich managed the entire process. He kept things organized with every deal. He wasn't the loudest on the show, but he was reliable and kept things moving. Viewers loved that about him. Behind the scenes, his bond with Les Gold wasn't just about friendship, it's about trust. They'd worked side by side for 25 years, facing tough customers and everyday challenges of running a pawn shop in Detroit. And everything seemed to be just fine, until something terrible happened in 2012 of the pawn shop. He kept it private. Even his family didn't know about it. Over time, things began to change, and soon Rich began to realize that losing a job is hard, but losing a friend was even harder. For Rich, the pawn shop wasn't just a place to work, it felt like home. Even what jobs can replace his unique experience of managing a pawn shop? The opportunities were subtle, and sometimes he was hesitant to even ask. Rich began to reappear on TV. His humor was still there, but his pace was different. He didn't come back to the pawn business, and maybe that was by choice. Maybe after everything, Rich found peace in living life on his own terms, away from the rush. Still, Rich was one of those rare people on television who didn't get hate or negativity from viewers. Everyone on set liked working with him, and fans always looked forward to seeing him on screen. Even now, when fans talk about the early days of Hardcore Pawn, Rich's name always comes up first. Seth Gold. From the very first season, Seth Gold was more than just a team member. He was Les Gold's son. Seth carved out a unique role at Hardcore Pawn. While Les was chasing big dreams, Seth was the one who kept things on schedule. He focused on protecting his bond with his father, so he tried to do everything he could for the show. But that relentless effort left Seth in trouble. He was always chasing the edge and trying to solve problems, even before they happened. Whenever there was conflict with the customer, Seth stepped up with his commanding presence. Then, in 2015, Seth faced something far more serious than any pawn deal. He began to disappear from the show. With constant deadlines to meet and grueling work behind the scenes, eventually Seth made the difficult decision of leaving the show. Fans missed him and began to realize that he was the one who made Hardcore Pawn feel special. But in 2019, while riding his motorcycle in Michigan, Detroit, he was involved in a devastating crash. The impact was severe. Seth suffered serious chest and leg injuries, including multiple broken bones and internal damage. He was rushed to the hospital and underwent several surgeries. Episode with exciting deals now had to learn how to walk again without pain. Some fans missed the tension he brought to the screen. Others found a new respect for the man behind the persona. However, Seth's story is about transformation, a reminder that even the fiercest voices sometimes go quiet. Still, not every cast member had the chance to pull away on their own terms. Some were forced to say goodbye far too soon. Bobby Janiak. Bobby J was also an interesting personality on the show. Whenever a customer walked out of the pawn shop with more money than before, you could instantly recognize it was Bobby who made it happen. He was the one handling the entire transaction. Money mattered, of course, but even more than that, it was about giving each person the right deal. However, the job wasn't easy, but Bobby refused to back down. He fought through the intense challenges and faced constant pressure of being on TV. With 1,000 things in his mind, he still prioritized working at Hardcore Pawn, and that's what made him truly special. But fans began to notice Bobby's behavior. He didn't laugh much and often looked tense. After just 3 seasons, Bobby quietly stepped away from the show and chose to follow his own path. But that wasn't the whole story. In 2018, everything changed. Bobby suffered a serious stroke in the middle of the night coordination and required emergency care followed by weeks of physical rehabilitation. So he disappeared from the show. While other cast members continued making new deals, Bobby was in hospitals, learning how to recover. The man who once couldn't let a single transaction go now seemed more at peace in letting go altogether. What makes this even harder for fans is that Bobby had just started to become a bigger part of the show. People were getting to know him better, and while his time on Hardcore Pawn may have been brief compared to others, the way he touched people's hearts left a lasting memory. He reminded us that not everyone needs the spotlight to feel important. Some people work even harder behind the scenes, and they are the ones responsible for the show's true success. But while Bobby found a new rhythm to life, another hardcore pawn favorite had her own reasons for pulling back. Ashley Gold. Ashley Gold was born on January 7, 1987 in Michigan. With her sharp confidence and fearless attitude, she managed the busiest parts of the shop. As the daughter of Les Gold and co-owner of American Jewelry, she knew the pawn business better than most. From a very early age, Ashley always found ways to make her dad proud, and her time on Hardcore Pawn was just another opportunity to do the same thing. She was also deeply connected to the family business, working alongside her father Les and brother Seth to keep the pawn shop running. She always dreamed of growing the store and continuing to build a better legacy for the family. But life doesn't always go as expected. As the seasons went on, fans noticed something. Ashley began appearing less frequently. Her once booming presence became occasional. Ashley began shifting his focus away from the pawn shop and towards family. Behind the scenes, Ashley had been dealing with personal health concerns. She made rare appearances in later seasons, often accompanied by her brother. However, Ashley's unwavering support towards her father reminds us that every great team needs a steady supporter, and for Hardcore Pawn, it was Ashley who made the right choice. Les Gold. Les Gold was never one to back down. With his confident approach, Les brought drama to the show, and that's what most fans who watch reality shows look forward to. Like any process in the shop, Les's dream life started from scratch. He wasn't just talking about the pawn business, he actually lived a life around them. Les built American Jewelry into one of the largest pawn shops in the country, but it wasn't about fame. It was his true love for every part of the process. But behind his incredible resilience was a heartbreaking childhood that very few people knew about. Les was born on June 20, 1950, in Detroit, Michigan, but he spent most of his time inside his grandfather's pawn shop, a place filled with unique items and unforgettable stories. His grandfather was a hard-working businessman who believed in fair deals and honest work. From a very young age, Les loved watching his grandfather negotiate with customers. While other kids were playing outside, Les was learning the value of every transaction. Interestingly, at just 12 years old, he made his first big sale, a diamond ring that sparked his passion for the trade. That moment marked a turning point in his journey. Even when the pawn business faced hard times and people told him it would never last, Les kept going. His dream was clear. He wanted to build one of the largest and most trusted pawn shops in the country. Les's journey to TV was even more surprising. He began with a small jewelry shop in Detroit, filled with high-stake deals and real customers. So eventually, he moved to a 50,000 square feet store on Greenfield Road, and in the pawn shop. Eventually, Hardcore Pawn premiered its first episode on August 16, 2010. The show represented Les and his family, dealing with unique items and focusing on making the best deal out of each customer. The show lasted for 9 seasons, and it was a blend of business and family, making each moment feel unforgettable. However, viewers began to speculate that some scenes were staged to make the show more exciting. Les heard the criticism, but reassured the viewers, showcasing the real energy and conflict of running a pawn shop. But in early 2019, Les's world came to a sudden halt. After a normal day, he started feeling chest pain. At first, he brushed it off, but the pain grew worse and led to a massive heart attack. His son Seth shared the heartbreaking news through an emotional video he posted on social media. The news hit hard and forced Les to step away from Hardcore Pawn, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. For a man built on adrenaline and big plays, stepping back was one of the hardest decisions he ever made. Because the truth is, no one genuinely knows what someone is going through on them inside, no matter how confident or cheerful they may seem in public. But Les's exit was a reminder that even the strongest among us are fragile. In the end, what we saw on screen was only part of the story. Behind every deal, every negotiation, and every tense moment was a person carrying their own personal struggles. But each one of them found a way to keep going. So, who's your favorite Hardcore Pawn member? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and click the next video on your screen now for another interesting story.